Whew. This pillow fort. It's small at times. But okay, I made it. Hi, how are you? Thank you so much for joining me. I was watching Brene Brown's special on Netflix, Call to Courage, I think it's called. And one of the first things she said was, thank you for spending time with me here. Because time is the most valuable thing we have. It is something you never, ever get back. And that made me think, like, wow, all of these people spending time with me every 2 weeks. I am so grateful for that and honored and humbled. So thank you for spending time with me today. And I hope you enjoy this episode. Welcome to the Lesbian Romantic Podcast. This is More Than Fun and Games, Part 7. Can't believe it's 7 already. Part 7. Happy Cow. Yeah, that's quite a title. Sorry to keep you waiting, Aisha said cheerfully, walking into her office. Emily looked up from her espresso with a smile. I have coffee, so no problem. Aisha wagged a finger. Yes, the power of coffee. Emily studied the woman. Aisha was wearing a different outfit today. Her brown linen pants already looked a little crinkled. Her beige blouse was wide below but showed Jahani's naked shoulders at the top. Walking back from the coffee corner, holding a glass of water, Jahani said, I'll have to stick to water for now. She showed Emily her free hand. It was shaking, see? Too little sleep and too much coffee. Emily raised her eyebrows in amusement. Yes, clearly. Jahani plopped down in the chair across from Emily's. She sipped from her glass twice before speaking again. Have you thought about the job? She asked matter-of-factly. Emily tilted her head. What job? Crossing her legs, Jahani smiled. The job I'm offering you, of course. There was genuine surprise in her deep voice. That's why we're here, isn't it? To discuss a job at Full Circle Games? Emily chuckled. Aisha, you haven't offered me a job yet. I haven't? Jahani asked, her lips curving up again. She tapped her cheek with the tip of her finger. I guess we did have to cut our conversation short yesterday. Yes, Emily replied, placing her empty cup on the coffee table. We never discussed any particular job. Your HR director did mention you're looking for someone to lead the R&D department. Yes, that's right. Jahani nodded, holding her glass in midair. She pursed her lips. But you're not interested in that job, are you? Emily said, taken off guard. I guess I did say that. Jahani leaned back, grinning. That's okay. I like that you aren't interested at this point. The thing is, this is not your typical R&D job. I want to totally change the focus of our department, Jahani explained. She took another gulp from her water and then put her glass away. In what way? Emily asked. Jahani rolled up the sleeves of her blouse. I want someone to lead us into fully circular design. Emily straightened, intrigued. As in 100% circular? Yes, that should be our goal, Jahani said, holding Emily's gaze. Biting her lower lip, Emily sorted through her thoughts for a moment. Circular design challenged inventors to create everything as if it was part of nature's life cycles. The waste of one process had to be the source for the next. It's going to take at least a decade to get even close to that goal, Emily said, thinking aloud. I know, Aisha replied. But you have several decades left in your career, don't you? Emily laughed. True enough. I'm new to this, though. I don't have any experience with circular design, not beyond classic recycling. Jahani leaned back in her chair. That's fine. For my leadership, I mostly hire on character. Emily nodded slowly. I don't think I can pay you what you're used to making, Jahani continued. And even if I could, I wouldn't. I don't think anyone needs to make that amount of money. Emily narrowed her eyes. I wouldn't be in it for the money. I know, Jahani said. I just wanted to be upfront about it. We have a policy here that limits how much executives can make. You know, Emily chuckled. That doesn't surprise me at all. She tucked a strand of hair behind her ear. I'm sure the compensation will be fair. And I'm sure you have other questions, Jahani said warmly. Emily looked down at her hands. I report to you? Of course, Jahani replied immediately. What about the team? Emily asked. When would they start working on circular design concepts with me? There is a team that will take care of the development of products already in the pipeline. That gives you time to get started with your own R&D with the research team. Emily nodded again. Will both teams report to me? They'll report to their team leads, and the team leads report to you, yes, Jahani said, folding her hands in her lap. What about new hires? Emily asked. Can I add expertise if I need it? Show me a plan and a budget, and we can discuss it, Jahani said lightly. Emily grinned. Fair enough. Jahani shifted in her seat. Are you willing to move to Florida? Emily froze. In the back of her mind, she had known this could be a requirement for the job. Somewhat foolishly, she had hoped it wouldn't be. Her chest tightened. I'm not sure, to be honest. She sighed, thinking of Leah and her family. I would have to discuss it with my partner. Of course, Aisha said, fidgeting with the large red beads of her necklace. You should. I will, Emily said. There was no way they could or would move to Florida. Being near Leah's family was way too important to both of them. And then there was Leah's best friend Claire to consider also. How about I call you tomorrow? Emily said. She knew she should just tell Jahani that she couldn't move, but she needed some time to process her disappointment first. That would be perfect, Jahani replied. If you have any questions in the meantime, contact Alexis. She can put you through to me if needed. All right, Emily said, pushing herself up. I will do that. Jahani straightened too. I look forward to hearing from you, Emily. I'll have Alexis drop a proposal in the meantime. Their eyes met as they shook hands. There was a self-assured calmness in Jahani's brown eyes that Emily couldn't help but admire. Jahani was powerful and yet kind. Confident, but not arrogant in any way. Emily knew Aisha Jahani didn't need her. There were plenty of people in the world she could hire for this job. Quite a few of them would probably be more qualified than Emily was today. And yet, Jahani had chosen her. This made Emily feel special. She couldn't deny it. Emily would be honored to work by this woman's side, even if it was at a gaming company. Full Circle Games could change the world in many ways. She saw that now. Unfortunately, she couldn't be part of it. Moving to Florida wasn't something she was willing to do. No job was worth moving away from Leah's family. Not even this fantastic opportunity. All right, talk to you tomorrow then, Emily said, smiling again. Jahani's firm hand was still in hers. Squeezing one last time, Jahani replied, Make sure that we do. Emily and Leah had agreed to meet in the park today. There had been no way of telling how long the meeting with Aisha Jahani would last. Emily had texted Leah as soon as she walked out of the Full Circle Games office. She was now on her way to meet Leah in the science fiction area. The sun was out and it wasn't too hot yet. It was a lovely day to have fun at the theme park, but Emily felt too tense to enjoy her walk. She kept looking around with regret. There were so many things here that she absolutely loved. Jahani had done such an amazing job with the technology she used to enrich the experience. Hey! A familiar voice shouted from Emily's right. Emily turned and smiled when she saw Leah walking toward her. There was a plastic spoon sticking out of her mouth. That looks good, Emily said, pointing at the ice cream in Leah's hand. It's fantastic, Leah replied, giving Emily a quick peck on the cheek. Before you ask, no way I'm sharing. Laughing, Emily peeked inside the styrofoam cup. Isn't it too early for ice cream? Leah scooped up a spoon of whatever flavor she had. It's never too early for ice cream. And it's frozen yogurt, dairy-free. Emily's brow furrowed. Yogurt? Dairy-free? Yes, Leah said, bringing the spoon to Emily's lips. It's a thing. Try it. I thought you weren't sharing. Emily teased, then quickly bit down on the spoon. Her eyes widened. Oh, she mumbled. This really is good. You can get some from the Happy Cow over there, Leah said, nodding in the direction of a small building. Emily looked over her shoulder and now saw the pictures of a cow with a broad smile. In one of the images, the cow was relaxing on a couch, paws up. In another one, she was handing out ice cream to a raccoon in a spacesuit and an armadillo. Bibi, that's the cow, started her dairy-free ice cream shop online and was able to retire from working for farmers after a few years, Leah explained while scooping up more of the frozen yogurt. That's why she looks so happy. Huffing, Emily said, That's quite a story. Leah nodded. I thought it was hilarious. And Bibi's stuff is yummy. She wagged her spoon at Emily. Are you finally going to tell me about your meeting with Johnny? Leah was smiling brightly, but Emily didn't miss the impatience in her voice. It was a good meeting, Emily replied, shrugging. But I don't think the job will work out. She averted her gaze and looked back at Bibi, the cow. What? Leah asked. You didn't like the job? Emily wrinkled her nose. She didn't want to admit she really did like the job. That would make the rest of the conversation more uncomfortable, and she didn't see the point. She had already made up her mind. But Emily wouldn't lie either. No, the job was actually pretty cool, she admitted. Leah lowered her spoon. Really? What was it? Emily pointed at Bibi, coming up with stuff like that. More ice cream? Leah asked, looking confused. Okay, not exactly. Emily smiled. Aisha is looking for someone who can design things for her without waste or unsustainable resources. Oh, cool, Leah said excitedly. Like circular design? Yes, Emily said. That's exactly it. She felt the excitement coming back. Aisha wants to go 100% circular. It's crazy, right? A good kind of crazy, Leah said, shaking her head. Wow, I love that idea. It would be amazing to see a tech company do that. And the park will be a challenge, too. Yeah, Emily replied, nodding enthusiastically. Then she reminded herself she couldn't take the job. Emily rubbed her chest and looked down at Leah's ice cream. Can I have another bite of that? What? Leah replied, puzzled. Oh, sure. She handed Emily the cup. She frowned when she met Emily's eyes. Why do you think it won't work out? Are there other candidates or something? You think you won't get the job? Emily swallowed some ice cream before taking a deep breath. No, she said slowly. The job is mine if I want it. Leah froze for a second, clearly confused. What? That's great, she gasped. But I can't take it, Emily continued, because I would have to move to Florida. Oh, Leah said softly, her shoulders dropping. Oh, she repeated. Moving here is not an option, Emily said. So I'm going to turn it down. She quickly scooped up more of the frozen yogurt. The spoon scraped over the bottom of the styrofoam cup. Leah cleared her throat. Why is it not an option? She asked. Why can't we move to Florida? This was part 7 of More Than Fun and Games. Hey, there's something else on Netflix I really want to share apart from Brené Brown's special. There's a new documentary that came out this week. It's called The Social Dilemma. Now, some of you may know that I left all social media. I don't remember when. See, I totally didn't look back. I deleted all my accounts, like for real. There's no more backup function, reactivate, blah, blah, blah. It's all gone, and I haven't felt this good about it in a long time. It really improved my life. And that's not a surprise, because social media are built basically to make you miserable. And that's what this documentary is about. I highly, highly, highly recommend it for you, for anyone else who ever opens up Facebook or Twitter or Instagram and kind of gets that achy feeling that something is wrong or not enough, or that it's all too much. That is not an accident. Please watch The Social Dilemma on Netflix. If you have Netflix, it's all included. You don't have to pay extra. It's really worth it. All right. That was quite a detour. I'm not paid to say this. I haven't even been asked or something. This is all me. But yeah, so a big, heartfelt, soul-felt thank you to the listeners who support this podcast. Because of your financial help, I can keep creating these stories and I can keep sharing them with everyone. And that's my goal. I want to make as many people as possible smile and hope with these stories. So thank you, because of your support, I can keep working. All right, I'm totally rambling today, I realize. Thank you again for spending time with me, and I hope you are well. See you next time for More Than Fun and Games Part 8. Bye. I'll have Alexis drop a poo-poo. I'll have Alexis drop a Oh boy. Emily, I'll have Alexis drop a Oh god. I'll have Alexis. Okay, I can't do this. I'll have Alexis drop a proposal in the meantime.